Okay, so for in general, I noticed like uniformed services, any uniformed services, Navy, Army, Police, hierarchy is built into the functioning structure. So for you, how do you balance your individual opinion with functioning in a hierarchy?
Yeah, you see, hierarchy appears to be necessary in some of these services, but too much of hierarchy has very much adverse effect in the overall functioning, because it can kill the initiative and initiatives and also the thinking power, because after all, neither wisdom nor knowledge nor anything else actually depends on the your position or age. So a constable can have a brilliant idea or a better idea than a sub-inspector, or a sub-inspector can have a better idea than SP. So therefore, hierarchy may be necessary, but at the same time there should be a two-way traffic of the ideas, and that's how I have been trying to get opinions, views, suggestions from the all ranks, particularly subordinate ranks, to, as you said, balance this hierarchy and this. At the same time, we should not lose on the good ideas of those who are working below us. Yeah, you see, bad effects of the hierarchy you can avoid or mitigate to some extent only in the organization, or to the extent in which you are at the top and others are. But if they are above you and if they do not agree to this view, then there is a bit of problem. So personally speaking, you see, I have not often followed the hierarchy. Only thing I can say, to the credit of those whom I bypassed or tried to bypass here and there, all in public interest, and they could not find fault with me, and they have never troubled me for that. But I have often circumvented the hierarchy. Often it can be problem. I will dare say that perhaps I was lucky, or the way I approached, or the people whom I approached in the process, sort of, let's say, circumventing or a little bit avoiding the hierarchy, were good enough to do it. But you see, it will depend on the individual to individual. I think I can't recommend that others should do it, because it can lead to problems. So that's how I'll put it. I will actually tell them to it sound like a cliche maybe, but to listen to their inner voice, or the call, because why I'm hesitant in recommending to somebody else to do what, say, the way I function, because as I again said sometime earlier, the risk involved, you can be in problems. So I would not like others to get into problem by trying to do, because it also depends on you see, it might sound what to say, it might sound boasting type, or but without any iota of that, the ego or arrogance or whatever, or that truth has its force, and truth cannot be you see, truth has this habit, it will not manifest only in one situation, it has to manifest in all the situations. So unless you have maintained that position in all situations, you cannot suddenly say in one situation, no, I will do like this. But if you have done that, then it's easier. Now to ask people to do this question is very difficult, that have you maintained that in all situations, personal as well as official, as whatever, in all situations you maintain that, it is easier for you to maintain that even in the hierarchy. But if not, then I think better be careful. But I'll say that in the public interest, people at all levels, and particularly youngsters, must take a stand in the public interest. Even if something is to be done by little bit circumvent, after the whole hierarchy, for what purpose? That the service which we are supposed to deliver is delivered smoothly and reaches the people for whom it's meant. So if your action is helping that, then nobody should object to this. Maybe little personal problem, ego, otherwise it should not be problem, isn't it? So that way. So I will recommend people to take a stand on that. If I have understood it correctly, 2-3 things again have to be kept in mind. One is that, first of all, your personal opinion. I have learned to not to believe too much on personal opinion. Personal opinion must be supported by some other evidence. Otherwise, it can take you to very wrong decisions or positions, because there may be some unconscious prejudices or whatever. Therefore, never be too strong on your personal opinion, number one. Number two, if there is a clash between personal opinion and the law, you see, law is also open to interpretation. One has to keep in mind, number one. Number two, but again, law is to be interpreted in the manner in which it helps public good, because all laws are for that. It cannot be interpreted, it can be, it is done many times, interpreted may to help a particular individual or particular organization. No, I am not talking about that. If there is a clash between your personal opinion and the law, and since law is open to interpretation, if your interpretation is more in the interest, public interest, larger public, this thing, you should go by that. You should go by that and not by the personal opinion. But I think the problem will be when you think that your personal opinion is more in public interest than the law. I would like to say that in that case, you must counter check your personal opinion, and then if you are convinced, I think you must try to stick to that and try to find out a way as to how that can be done, rather than the strict, because all laws, rules, procedures, all are actually made for smooth functioning of the department, services, whatever. So they should not themselves become a hindrance in the service delivery or this thing. So to that extent, if you are very so convinced, suppose this may, but then by counter check, I mean, as I should not depend too much on, because you may be wrong. So suppose you have faith in somebody else, that this person will give a very frank, impartial, and without telling what is your opinion, you check up, and if it tallies, maybe you can go by then, say like this, little counter check, and then if you are convinced that what your stand is the correct stand in this situation, and this is what should be done in public interest, I think one should take that stand.
Is there something that you can relate in terms of how you went about?
Yes, actually, if I relate to my situation, I may be called rather indisciplined, easily, because I think I have done it more often than one should do. I have done it more often, and but only the humble confidence is that it was never for personal interest or personal interest of self or somebody whom we want to help. No, never that. Say for example, perhaps you said a specific this thing. All right, there was when I was DCP traffic, there was, let's say, road accident in which somebody died. And of course, as DCP DCP traffic, I visited and all that. But then is inspector investigates the cases, and it was I knew that a accident has taken place and person had died. But who is the accused and all that, I was not day to day pursuing. That's not the way also. But then I came to know that. Again, it's very interesting that I came to know with some subordinate officers only, that something wrong is being done in that case. Somebody wrong is being fixed. Actually, accused is so and so, but it is being fixed. Somebody else is. I said, no. How could I say? Yeah, this is what is happening. And this is a very serious thing. So to ask somebody that are you doing is also it's not a very nice thing to. But anyway, finally I did ask a roundabout way or whichever way, and person got it, and he came out by saying that yes, actually my boss has agreed to this, because that person, the accused, was son of a very sitting high position person. So therefore the Sahib that's my boss. I said, but nothing doing, you can't do it. Now that you have told me that it is true, you can't do that. Now it has come to my notice, so it is my responsibility to stop to it. Whatever you tell, you tell commissioner that I am not. So like that. But then it was a problem. It went to they started mentioning chief minister's name and all that he is interested. So I went to CM's office and met his principal secretary, and I asked him, you please tell me, is chief minister has actually said something in this case or not? So he said, all right, wait, I'll let you know in couple of hours. In couple of hours he said that not that he has actually said, but he is aware and he would rather would like it to be done that way. I said, no, that cannot be done. So if it's not done, then what will happen? I also said that it will come in the press. Who is the real person will come in the press, and then it may also come in the press that CM wanted in this fashion, etc. So are you prepared for that? He said, no, CM said that you do whatever you want, I have nothing to do. Merit must be followed. So then I say there was some fight, some quarrel between boss and the DG and I and all that. I said, nothing doing. I know file is with me, and therefore what my boss is saying is not true, because file is with me. He is only going by hearsay. So finally they said, but you see how to do it, how to arrest that man. And I said, that you leave it to me. You please don't interfere. I went to the father of that person, the sitting high position man, and I told him that this is what is happening, and I am sure you are aware this is what is happening, so this is not correct. So he asked me, but how do you say my son is involved? I said, if I were not sure, do you think I would have guts to come to you? He said, all right, you do whatever you think fit, you do. So we charge it and all that. So now this, say, going by position, law, this and that. Now law means somebody had issued a statement that yes, I was driving like this by mistake, somebody came in. Now he has given a statement. So going by the legally procedure, this man the accused, but which is not the correct position. You know that's not the correct position. It's being fixed. So one can take a stand, and I was lucky that I will call it luck or whatever, that no problem came to me, though I annoyed so many people in the process. But we were happy that right person, whatever happened, case did not stand. That's another issue, because so many cases don't stand. But at our level, we did the correct thing. So we went by the. Now here I can say that yes, in a way it is personal, not actually opinion, but personal information. It was not. If you go only by what was on the file, investigation file, then something different was there. But since we knew something different, so many such instances are there where say some other legal position was being projected, but opinion I went by what we thought was right, so that way.